Hey guys, I just wanted to show you what modifications I've done to my tower since the first time I built the thing. Since I built it, I had to make a few changes to it because when it came to draining it, I had a major flaw in it, and it was not so much the video card loop, but it was the CPU and the Northbridge loop that gave me the drama trying to drain it. It was a nightmare, basically. So I don't know if you remember, down the bottom here there was another radiator which I've now taken out. It was just too difficult to drain it with that one in there because it was at the lowest spot and it was a nightmare. I had the tap above it and it just turned out that I had to just turn the thing upside down constantly to just try and drain it right. So I ended up taking out the 240 and getting rid of it. If you remember the last video, had all this plumbing coming along here. Basically you could just see too much plumbing, too many fittings, and it was just all the cabling down the bottom, and it just looked really messy, and I wasn't happy with it. So what I did was I made this shroud bulkhead and put it in. The only problem is I couldn't get it in one piece because of the lips on this tower. Couldn't get it in one piece, so I had to design it so it was in two pieces. I don't know if you can see the join in there at all, just there. So just there. So yeah, had to put it in two pieces, but I think it's pretty discreet. And yeah, so what I've done is I've just made it so all the piping comes down and just sits on top. They had these bulkhead fittings that you could buy. They were $12 each, and I wasn't prepared to fork that sort of money out. So these are all just sort of just sitting in there and that, but they sit nice and neat. They're nice and firm and that, so you know, as you can see, and it just looks a lot neater. And from there I'll have flexible tubing attaching to those all underneath where it's not going to be seen and that, and then I'll have all my taps down the bottom there underneath. I will flip it over to show you when it is completed. It's not completed yet because I'm just waiting on some fittings to finish that. So yeah. Okay, back again. Finally got all the parts I needed now to complete the build. Got these parts here, and they're female to female fittings. Just they were really hard to come by. Actually, I had to wait a few weeks for them. They basically are going to go underneath, sort of thing, join there like this. Basically they'll join under there like that. Okay, here we got the underneath of the tower. As you can see, it's flipped on its side. I mean, I didn't paint the inside of this. You're not going to see it, so it's okay. And this is where the fittings will go. It's on here, basically like that. And then your hosing will attach to those. I had to pull out the power supply to get to those two there because you just can't get into them to screw it in. But yeah, that was a bit of a drama. It took me a while to work out that maybe just cutting a hole in the bottom here like that so you can get the power supply in and out like that, which worked out okay. And I've still got I've got the bottom of that over here somewhere. Where is it? There, sort of thing. Basically what I did was just cut a hole in it like that, and I'll have this attached back up so it either on a hinge or there'll be a couple of clips or something to that effect anyway. So but that's just going to be there just to hold the hosing in place so it doesn't flop out of the bottom. So but yeah, we'll get these fittings and all that installed, and we'll take it from there. Yep. Alright, so far I've managed to get two of the hoses in. Gee, it's been a bit tight getting them in there, especially those two right there, because the power supply slot's right in here, and there's about probably maybe 15-20 mil gap clearance there, hence why I had to take out the power supply to get them in there. But yeah, just getting it to sit right. It's been a bit of a tight fit in there, but I guess once they're in there, she'll be fine. So we'll get the rest of them installed and see how it goes. Yep, keep you updated. Okay, well, I've got pretty much most of the fittings in down under there now. The only thing I haven't got on is this tap goes onto here like that, but I need a male-to-male fitting, a slightly short one. I had to alter the way I did that tap because it was going to have hose to the tap, and then from the tap hose again up to there, but I underestimated how short the loop was going to be, so I've had to do it all with hard fittings pretty much because it was such a tight fit. Either that or just have a lot of hose just looping around under there. I wasn't going to do that. So, but that seems to have worked out alright, and when it comes to emptying it, you can just swivel it down like that, flick the tap, and it should work okay, hopefully. As long as those fittings don't leak. These ones here, I mean, the right angle ones. They're rotary fittings, and I've had a couple of that have leaked on me in the past, so we'll see how it goes. It's got to get a fitting for there, and then that'll be all the underneath plumbing done for the tower, and then I'll just have a run. It's just up here, come from the North Bridge. It's going to have some flex hose out around here, and I'll be going up to the top radiator here. I'll be putting in another bulkhead along here, so this goes into it like so, and it's nice and neat and hidden away, so yeah. Okay, I got the new bulkhead piece all made up now. That's the back of it. These two holes here are just for the fan cables to come through, and where is it? See if I can find it. That'll hook up to the grid fan controller. That'll stay there. Obviously it's got to be painted yet, so yeah, so hose goes from the radiator here through to the CPU, like so, sort of thing, you know. Basically that's, I've got this here just so it hides this bit of hosing. So that's the hole there for the power cable, goes through like that, and it'll hook into there like that. Yeah, so, well, sorry, it comes off the North Bridge there, yeah, so it goes from the North Bridge, then it'll go through the loop at the back, and then go through up to the radiator. So yeah, I've got that all done, it's all lined up well, it's all sitting in there properly, so I guess I can paint it now. Once I get it all painted and installed, I'll show you guys what it looks like, and hopefully by that time I'll have this piece of tubing would have arrived, and I can finish that run as well up here as well. So yep, I'll get it all painted, and we shall see what it looks like when it's all finished. I just want to show you where I'm at the moment. I've got the second of two bulkheads in place now. It's all painted, all screwed in place and everything like that. So that's it there. Obviously that's the hose that I attached to it. This is coming from the North Bridge. Goes around to the radiator at the top. Got the fan control good hub in there. All the cables poking through their holes, nice and neat, tied off. Got all the cabling all neatly done now, so I know it probably doesn't look like that, but it's a lot better than what it was. I had cables running everywhere across there, so but I've decided to try and neaten it up a bit, and I think it's a lot better than what it was. So yeah, so that's the back of it. It's all in place. We'll go and take a look at the front of it, and basically that's the front just there. Okay, so yep, obviously this is the bulkhead that I installed, and you can see it's going from the north bridge, goes through to the tubing at the back, and it goes through up to that fitting there, which is going to the top of the radiator there. That one, not that one. So yeah, cables all poking through nicely there. So yeah, I've got that in place, all done. I'm now just waiting on some parts. Just need a piece of this tubing, one piece, that's all I need. I've been waiting 2 weeks, and I've just found out that now I've got to wait at least another week to get that. So not very happy about that, but there's not much I can do about it. And I just need a male-to-male fitting to install the last tap. And then once we get that done, I can then do a leak test on it, I guess. So when I get to that stage, I'll let you know, and we'll do a leak test. Okay, got the last of the fittings in. Got this piece in here that's running from there, obviously, and up to this radiator there to complete that. And I've got the fitting in underneath as well. Let's have a look. I don't know if you can see any of that. Let's see if I can get under there to have a look. Which is that fitting just there. Just slide this out. I've made this so this all comes out like so. And yeah, that's the fitting there I had to put in to attach the last of the taps. I don't know if you can see that properly in there. So all the fittings are done. So now we're at the point of where we are going to fill it up and test it. So we'll get on to that and give it a leak test and see how it goes. Okay, I'm just doing the GPU loop at the moment. I've just filled up the reservoir about 600 mils, and I'm just slowly but surely getting out the air bubbles. I haven't had any leaks as such, which is a good sign. So I'm powering up the GPU here just to make an old power supply that I've converted into just a tester and that. And yeah, I just use that to power it up. So I just flick it on and off, and it just slowly gets the air bubbles out. I know the pump seems a little bit noisy. That's because there's still a bit of air trapped in there, hence why I turn it on and off. It just gets most of the air out that way a lot quicker. But it seems to be going quite well. There's no leaks, no sign of any leaks. I've got paper towel down. I've had a look under here. I cannot see any leaking whatsoever, so I don't know if you can see that in there. So far so good. Just give that another flick on again. And yeah, see, it just works out all the air bubbles, and the pump becomes a lot more quieter as you work out those air bubbles. So we'll just keep continuing like that until I get all the air bubbles out. I'll run it for a while, and just to make sure it's not going to leak. And once I'm happy with it, then I'll proceed to fill up the rest. because if I do develop a leak, I don't want to have to drain it all out. So I've just put enough in there just to cover the pump sort of thing. So yeah, we'll proceed with that. Get rid of all the air locks and whatnot, and yeah, then once I'm satisfied with the way it runs and it's not leaking, then I'll proceed with the CPU and Northbridge loop. Yeah. Okay, so far I've been happy with the GPU loop, no leaks, it's running fine, got all the air bubbles out as best as I could, and I'm just doing the CPU Northbridge loop at the moment. So far so good, just been doing the same thing, just flicking it on and off and that, and getting all the air bubbles out, as you can see. That's it, pumping through. Make sure I've got my paper towel down. Doesn't seem to be any leaks. Just got to work these air bubbles out and whatnot. No leaks at the back either. All seems to be fine. So yeah, can't see anything down the bottom, nothing underneath at all to indicate it's leaking. So yeah, just got to work these air bubbles out. The way I do it is just keep turning it on and off. It just helps everything to settle a bit, and then turn it back on, and slowly but surely that noisy pump will go away and it'll quieten right and down. So flick it back on again. The bubbles are working out. See, the pump is getting a little bit more quieter now. Seems to be going okay. Yep, so I'm happy with that. So I'll run that one for a while as well and see how it goes, and then we should be right to go. Yeah. Okay everyone, got everything all finished now. I've had it running now for about 2 days, and still working out a couple of air locks, especially in the CPU loop. There's a few bubbles going through every now and again, but getting them all out, and the main thing is there's been no leaks at all. So the loops have worked out well, no leaks at all. If you compare what it looked like before as to what it looks like now, it's I think it looks a lot better. I have eliminated a lot of the plumbing out of it, which is good. I think it looks a lot neater, cleaner, and that. So you can't see any of the wiring from the power supply either, which is really good. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, was to, you know, hide wiring and stuff like that. So yeah, the top bulkhead turned out okay as well. It's all nice and neat. So yeah, and one of the reasons I've gone with clear liquid is when it came to cleaning these out, because I had a red and I had a white. The white, when it came to clean that out, at the bottom of the reservoir there was a massive buildup, as you can see in these pictures. It didn't actually seem to get in the physical pump itself. It was just sitting at the bottom of where, you know, the glass tube screws in, and as you can see, it was quite thick, and it was actually like a ganky green color. So, and that was made by a company. It was called Ice Dragon. I'm not sure who made it. It was called Ice Dragon. and I found it was a real heavy compound in it. The colour they used, the dye they used, or whatever, it seemed to want to, settle to the bottom a lot. When I had the machine going, and that it was very heavy. But yeah, and that's one reason why I actually went just straightforward clear liquid for now. But you got to make sure you clean everything out properly. Even take every part you've got there, you've got to completely take it apart, even unscrew everything, clean the threads as well, because if you're going to run clear liquid, you will get contamination in it. So yeah, but all in all, it's come out well. My HP levels are right, so I added some Mayhem Bio stuff in there, 1 drop per litre. So, but yeah, all in all, I'm happy with it. It's worked out well, and yeah, I hope these guys enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed redoing this. It's something that I've wanted to do for such a long time, and I've finally just got around to doing it. So thanks again, guys, for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah,